Sure.
And we are live.
Thank you. We can begin the meeting, and I note that the Forestation Board does have a quorum present with Sylvia, Herb, Linda, and myself. The first item on the agenda is the approval of minutes of May 10th as distributed by Linda. Does anybody have any comments, additions, or changes?
Make a motion to approve.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Yes. Minutes are approved. The next item we have is actually the mayor's update, but I don't see the mayor here right now. Maybe he'll show up a little bit later.
He has family in town. I don't think he's going to be here.
Okay, alrighty. Next thing is Sol, which is Andrew's update. And he has quite a few.
Look, you're talking.
Another one we just added.
You're talking away from your mic. We didn't hear half of that.
Sorry. All right. The next item is Andrea's report.
Okay.
She has several items, some of which are listed. They're all tree issues. Just go ahead, Andrea.
Okay. The first one that was on the agenda, Lee's agenda, was 6500 Mountbatten Court. And that's over in Sutherland for maybe a few of you that may not know. And the owner of the property that called Lee was Mr. Stephen Scannell, who lives at 7002 Wyndham Parkway. And he is complaining about his neighbor that backs up to his backyard, has had 2 dead white pines pretty close to the property line for quite a while. They're planted on a berm right behind Mr. Scannell's backyard. And he's concerned about them. They've been dropping limbs and they've been dead for quite a while. And I'm concerned that they're going to continue to do that and just start falling apart. They're so close to his backyard. I think we should recommend that they be removed. They're starting to be hazards for that reason. And so Lee and I both visited the property, and I've sent an email that has photos to the board members. I don't know if you've all had a chance to look at that.
Yeah.
And I think I copied you, Ron. So that was the first thing on the agenda we wanted to bring to your attention. Do you all have any questions about it? Or Lee, do you have anything you can add?
We're not sure that the actual owner of the trees knows about the trees, but certainly we need to send a request for remediation, which would be removal of those 2 pine trees. So I would recommend that we vote, clear those trees hazardous, and have code enforcement act to notify the property owner.
And at this time, we don't know the property owner.
I think Linda did identify that.
I have the information.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Linda's actually prepared a formal request, and we're just waiting actually for the board to vote, and then she will send it through Ron.
Okay.
But she does have the property owner identified.
Okay, that's great.
Any other comments on this, or should we have a vote?
I make a motion that the hazardous 2 dead pine trees be removed.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
So moved. Okay, very good. You just want to go ahead, Andrea, with
Sure. The next one is at 7501 Fox Harbor Road. The property owner is Maureen Mitchell. She lives at, like I said, 7107 Fox Harbor Road.
He's a complainant, actually. Yeah, right.
And she's complaining about her neighbor next door that she thought they were cedar trees, but they're hemlock trees that are either dead or in various states of decline that are right adjacent to her wooden fence. And it was apparent to Lee and I that she has other issues and has had maybe some longstanding issues with this neighbor over time. But she has tried to get the neighbor to address these trees with no luck. So I think out of desperation, she called Lee and we went out and looked at them. And there was also an email I sent on May 6th to the board. It has basically it talks about 4 trees that are along 3 trees that are right adjacent to her fence. One of them's dead, but not very big, so I don't think it's an issue. Then there's 2 more that are also dead, and the limbs are falling over her fence, and they're just kind of falling apart. They've been dead for so long. So those 2 trees, in addition to a 3rd tree that is kind of, I don't know, Lee, would you say it was about 15 feet from her fence line, maybe 20
Yes.
feet?
Yes.
More in the, further away from her fence line, but it's a large, also dead hemlock that is falling apart, and it has one good sized limb. I sent photos of all this with this email on May 6th. That is kind of broken and hanging in the tree behind that property, behind the property at 7105 Fox Harbor. And so I didn't think that tree was going to be an immediate threat to Mrs. Mitchell at 7107, but it is a large enough branch hung up in a white pine behind 7105. I wanted to bring it to your attention that I thought perhaps we should have that limb cut, either cut or really the tree could be taken down, but since it's in the middle of the person's backyard at 7105, I don't think we could necessarily do that, but I do think we should try to have that one branch pruned so it's not going to fall into a neighboring property.
I
So,
have a question on that 4th tree that I think your original email said that the number 4 tree could be made safe by
right.
and trimming down to 20 or 30. Is there enough?
Right. I also said that, I mean, there's 2 options. I don't know which the board wants to do. I mean, it's a big enough tree. It's an issue. I don't think it's going to fall into 7107, Mrs. Mitchell's property, but it does have a bit, it's falling apart, and since it's fairly close proximity to the back of that woman's property, I suggested either having that tree made safe or at least, at the very least, pruning the hazard limbs that are hanging into the neighbor's yard, have them pruned off. So there's 2 trees to be removed, which was photos number 2 and 3 that were in the email. And then there's the other tree to either have the hazard limb, recommend that they remove the hazard limb so it's no longer a threat to the neighbor, or make the tree safe by pruning it down to 20 or 30 feet. It's essentially dead, standing in the middle of this woman's backyard at 7105. Ron, are you familiar with these people?
Yes, I am actually. I've been up there a couple of times.
So you may be familiar with what I'm talking about.
Uh-huh.
Sounds
Well, I
like
got
a perennial problem between 2 neighbors, maybe.
I would have to concur.
Yeah.
well, the one that's away from the fence, time will tell, but I suggest we just do the removal of the hazardous limbs on that tree,
Right.
that large hemlock, and then the other 2, definitely that are dead, that are adjacent to the neighbor's property, be removed.
I think that's fine. I think that would be fine.
Yes. Often we find that when we ask to have a limb removed, the property owner, seeing this poor condition of the tree, takes the whole tree out anyhow.
Right.
So
That's fine if you want to go that route.
I
you want
move
to
that,
present
ahead,
both
Linda.
options as mediation? That she could do one or the other?
what do you think, Linda?
That's fine.
I
Yeah.
mean, if you do that, maybe they'll at least take the lesser option, which would be removing the limb.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You
but
know?
that something's got to happen.
Right.
You want to, somebody else make a motion.
I make a motion that we request remediation by removal of 2 trees and removal of a dangerous limb on the 3rd tree.
And Linda, you should have pictures of those
I do have the pictures.
that you could submit with the form that you
I
submit.
have done
to
that.
Ron.
It's ready.
Okay. I'm sure you probably have. Just checking.
We could add on this request at the owner's option, the 3rd tree could be entirely removed.
Right.
I second that.
Okay, can we
Okay.
have a vote on that? Yes, I'm in favor of it.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, I think we have a clear consensus on that one.
Okay, the next two we need your help with, Ron. 7008 and 7010 Fox Valley Court. I don't know if you saw my email about those.
I did, actually. I'm the one who told him he needed to go.
You
to
told me,
the-
you told him about the 7.
The neighbor's tree, the honey locust, I wasn't aware of that one. And I plan on being up there this week and meeting with them, and we'll probably have both of those trees dropped. We won't cut them up and remove them.
Right.
They'll be used as habitat,
Right.
but we'll probably just drop them both into the park and
Right.
probably good.
Okay, that sounds good.
I need to verify that the second one is on
Right, and,
property.
and it's close, but I'm not sure if it is or isn't, so we need you to look at it, for sure. Yeah, you met with the gentleman at 7018, I think it was.
Yeah, very nice guy. Very nice guy.
708, yeah, he was very nice, Mr. Spurlock, yes.
Spurlock, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So Mr. Spurlock, for the board's clarification, has a very large, I think it was a maple that is on park property behind his house, that has a huge column of decay in the lower trunk area, making it, in my opinion, very structurally unsound. And the other problem is that it's on a hill, and the tree, if it should come down, or any part of it, would just pretty much annihilate his house. It's huge.
It is a big one.
It's a very big tree and the steep angle for the
Right,
hill also.
very, very much of a steep angle. And then his neighbor next door, Mr. Smith at 7010 Fox Valley Court, has a mostly dead black locust that is close to the rear of his property line, back property line that adjoins Putney Park. And it's mostly dead, and it is, yeah, it's mostly dead, and same kind of thing. It's been dead so long, it'll probably fall eventually. And he requested that, we told him that Ron would look at it and verify if it was on city property or private property there. But both trees, like Ron already agreed to, need to be removed. If you want to vote on that, or
I mean, do we have to do it on city trees?
Yes, we do, actually.
Yep.
Just
yes,
We do or don't?
In this
We
situation,
do.
since it involves private property, I would recommend it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I make a motion that the those
Second.
trees be removed.
That add to that motion that by the city if deemed to be on city property.
right.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Yeah. If it turns out that one of those trees is not on city property, we could take another action to have the property owner removed.
Okay. The next one is, it's the owner at 7223 Fox Harbor Road. Lee, would you mind speaking to that a little bit too? Because you were contacted and I haven't
Yeah.
actually dealt
The,
with this person yet.
well, I believe the owner's name is Clapp. I've talked to him twice, actually. The property is located at the junction of Hunting Harbor and the address is Cross Harbor Road. And there is an easement behind the property that has a jumble of trees. Was concerned that might be hazardous. Andrew and I actually visited the property sometime back, early in May, and we were able to sort out which trees might be on city or private property or which might be hazardous. I talked to the owner, as it's the second time, I asked him to mark the trees. He did mark the trees last weekend. At least he was planning to mark them last weekend, is basically what he told me. Probably what we need to do is Andrea and Ron, and I'm willing to participate, go visit that location. Ron has verified that there is city property involved there. You want to comment, Ron, on that?
Yeah, actually, I don't think they're going to be very happy with us. There is a major encroachment problem going on up there where people have developed city land. And we're gonna have to look into it. Let's just leave it at that for now. There may be some legal issues there.
Okay.
Do you need to look into it before the board takes any further steps here?
Yeah, let's hold off on it for now.
Okay,
Lee, I may get you to go up there with me and
certainly.
pay a visit to the one house in particular, and we can talk about it with the homeowner there. Yeah, for legal reasons, I don't want to go into it right now.
Okay, that's fine.
So,
All right.
It's a good plan.
Number 8 on the agenda is what, there's at Westover Estates on the berm on Westover Drive just past, or Hunting Creek is, what am I trying to say? Hunting Creek Estates on Westover Drive, just past, Autumn Hill on that berm there. Kind of near Herb's house, actually. There's a dead spruce tree. The
that's the one Herb killed.
Yeah, backs up to Herb's property. And there's also a dead maple, Norway maple there, in relatively the same location. I think I sent you all a photo, probably a second photo of that yesterday. Obviously, we'll have to wait if you approve those, as Ron has mentioned, we'll have to wait for the new fiscal year and I guess go from there on any further removals, right?
Yeah, actually, I've got them marked for removal. It's just like I said, you all literally have less than 2% of your budget left. So July 1st is right around the corner.
All right, that's
16
good.
days away, so yeah.
Some would call that very effective spending.
All right.
Yeah.
Ron, I think from what you said earlier, the board does not need to vote on those, although we
No.
certainly can.
No.
You're just gonna do it whenever you get the money, right?
Yep, exactly.
Fine, thank you.
The only other thing
Don, are you trying to say something?
I'm sorry.
Don Gibson? No, he
Okay.
said no.
Okay. Which is always kind of a sore subject. So don't shoot the messenger, but it's so hot and we're getting to that point where we need to figure out a way we can start watering some of the new trees. And I know there's quite a few of them from last fall and this spring.
And then Officer Tippin's tree also.
And officer, and I was going to ask you, Ron, as long as you're on the call or on the meeting here today, if there's any way, I mean, can you possibly stretch a hose or anything from City Hall that would reach to the memorial tree that was moved, Officer Timmons? Because
we don't have that much hose.
Can't get that much hose or anything.
Yeah, it's pretty far away.
what is, what do you, well,
You
it
can lend
really,
you 50 feet.
it's I don't know, I was thinking maybe 100 foot would reach it. I haven't measured it, but anyway. And then of course you've got the red bud. We've got memorial trees planted and you know, the red bud tree in front of City Hall, in addition to the other trees you're aware of. I don't know if your staff can do any watering or some of it, and then we'd have to figure out a way to complement that possibly. What do you think, Ron?
Well, right now you all already know the answer. I've given you the same answer every year. But right now we are completely tied up. Right now they're playing catch their tail. So we can get gator bags on them and maybe be able to hit them once a week.
That'd be great, actually. That'd be really good.
Better
Depending
than
on
nothing.
depending on the amount of trees you all come off with. If
Yeah.
you come off with 13, 14 trees, nope, not going to happen.
Yeah, well, we
So-
have a lot of trees, so we have
Yeah, but some,
9 trees from this spring, if you count the League of Cities tree that was donated, so they're all on Sutherland Farm Drive. But we have trees from last fall too. We've got 12 trees at the entrance to Bridgepoint. We don't have irrigation there, right? Where they were planted? Or do we?
Depends on where they are at. Most of those, no. A couple of them do get hit by irrigation, but like the front two, I think.
Andrea, maybe if you send out a list of trees and indicate the locations to Ron, and then just copy the board, we'll see what can be handled. And then
That'd be a good place to start.
we did request monies for watering in the new budget, but that budget I don't believe is passed yet.
No, it hadn't.
No,
Is
so
this where
Actually,
Full Lake-
it's not even being considered at this point. So
okay.
the you know, I mean, the weather is just so darn unusually hot for this time of year. It's crazy. So
Andrea, I have
Yes.
a question. How often and how much should these trees be watered, the ones that we've just planted?
well, when we have weather like this, probably a couple times a week, which and you know, it depends on how much rainfall we get and so forth. But and we've been monitoring the rain. Connie isn't here, but she's been nice enough. Maybe you're on that email. She's been sending rainfall amounts in Prospect, so that we can really pretty
Well,
accurately.
let's say if we go a whole week without rain.
Well, right now we're just kind of between a rock and a hard place, and I think we need to just hope we get a thunderstorm here this week. You know, because it's just all of a sudden gotten so darn hot. I'm really concerned about the tree that the city spent a lot of money to move in Little Hunting Creek Park by City Hall in particular, because you know, we moved a big tree and it's
Hey,
I looked at
Ron.
it. It's really
Hey, Ron.
dry.
You
Yes, sir.
know that moving that tree's under the park budget. Wouldn't the maintenance on that could that be under the park budget, that memorial tree?
in a stretch, yeah.
I like stretching.
Before you go spending park money, though, you better clear it with Linda.
Linda Wardell.
Uh-huh.
I was mean Little Hunting Creek Park, but I guess okay. Yeah,
Still a park, still under her jurisdiction.
you're right.
I guess the question I have that Herb's comment makes me think is that we discussed at the last meeting that the cost to move that particular tree would be covered by the development fund for the new.
Right.
So would maintaining it still go into that bucket, and is that something Linda would have control over, or is that a different person?
Well, let me call Linda.
Okay.
How's
I
that?
was hoping you could reach a hose to it, but evidently not. But
No, it's
really needs a good
probably
drip.
it's probably 275 feet. I can get a drawing out and measure, but it's probably 275 feet away.
Okay,
And then you got to add the distance to the spigot. So
right.
Yeah, where is the spigot?
down behind the garage.
Okay.
Actually, there's one out front too, I believe. But
We also have, I know you all know this, it doesn't help the matter, but we also have memorial trees that the city has agreed to plant now. And it seems like we ought to take some responsibility for getting those through till they get established.
Mhm.
You know,
I've
the ones-
brought this up once before, guys, and you need to start considering this before you select a planting spot. It needs to be factored into watering, potential watering. If we can't get to it, it needs to be factored in.
right. Well, I think Lee was trying to do that with the
With
proposals.
the new budget, right?
But, you know.
I mean, I might be a radical guy, and I'll be radical. We put paving down, it's gotta be maintained. My house has gotta be maintained. Maintenance is a part of life.
Well, Herb is making his phone call. There was another tree that I found in the emails from Andrea that we need to look at, and that's at 7524 Rockingham. There is a large dead spruce that needs to be addressed. And there, I think, Andrea, it was your picture, so we have documentation on it.
Right, Andrea visited, said that she documented it. It's privately owned. The owner needs to be sent a remediation letter. No.
Linda, do you have the date of that email right there? that I sent
Not
you?
handy. I'd have to go back and get
I
it.
need to
It
go back
might have
and look that
been March or April.
Yeah, it was quite a while ago.
And it just didn't make the list in April or May.
I'll have to look that one back up, but I do remember it was a big dead tree.
It was a big tree like in their front
It
yard.
was in the front yard and
Yeah.
it was right on, very close to the edge of Rockingham.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Lee had gotten a call about it maybe. And now since,
I just drove by it and saw it, right?
did you? Okay.
I just happened to drive by and said, oh, look at that tree,
Right.
and it is definitely hazardous and very close to the road. It should be removed.
Okay, I left a message for Linda Wardell. We'll see.
Okay, very good, Herb.
I'll make everybody aware if she approves or not approves, or her decision.
I guess a question that I would have, knowing that there's not a new budget and that we are facing a need for watering, and we had hoped to address new watering supplier services because of Ron's staffing situation. And, there are the mayor's discretionary funds available for something like this. We don't want to lose the investment that's been made by so many people in these new trees.
You want me to call the mayor?
No, if he's not here, we can't call him right now.
He
I
knows
think
how I work.
we need to know.
Ask Don Gibson, he knows how I work. Okay.
It'd be worth asking, I think. I
Or
don't know what
other
to say.
alternatives are there within the existing structure?
Well, I'll call him later. I've only had 6 conversations over the park today.
Okay. Before we do that, Herb, maybe Andrea, you can give us, and I don't recall the numbers. I have them in the file downstairs. I'm working on my desk right now, but what the commercial watering charge would be for X number of trees.
Right.
So,
Well, we're gonna have to find somebody new to water. That's the problem. The person we were using raised their price. I remember it was just ridiculous. Perez and Cortez, so I think we ruled them out. I don't even know. I mean, does Greenscapes have a water truck, Ron? I assume they would. I don't know. I think he's on mute.
I'm not sure.
Sorry, I keep forgetting to pull the silly thing down. Let me send Corey an email.
I'm pretty sure they would. And we could find out what their hourly rate is for their water truck, and then I'm assuming they could use the water from City Hall in the back, fill up in the back of City Hall there, if I'm correct. And
Okay.
You may not want them on an hourly rate if they do that.
well, that's how a lot of landscapers work. I don't know how Greenscape. You can
Yeah.
just ask them what they charge.
It takes a while to fill a water tank up back there,
Eh.
which is one of the problems is the guys losing iron just filling up the tank
Well,
alone.
yeah, that would be a problem.
Well, one of the questions the mayor is going to ask is how much money do you need for the watering?
That's what I was getting at, right?
Well, just so we can get somewhere, I know we're
We could
waiting.
get some prices and then we can tell them.
We're waiting, but let me just throw something out.
I
We
think the
planted
original budget
9 new trees
proposal,
planted 9 new trees in Innsbruck. We planted 12 new trees in Bridgepoint. That's 21 trees.
Planted 17 last fall and 12 of those were in Bridgepoint.
Okay, so another 5. Okay,
So 17 and 8 is 25, and then there's the memorial tree for Officer Timmons.
And
Okay.
2 other memorial
It's
trees.
been quite a big investment, but hopefully
Right.
that can come out of a different budget maybe.
Right. There's 2 memorial trees that were privately funded, one in
Right,
Putnam Park and one in
Harrods Creek.
Harris Creek Park,
Yeah.
right?
For that Jacob Stover, was that his
Yeah,
name?
yeah. That's right.
so we got 28 trees. Okay,
and I think the budget proposal we submitted did have a tree and a cost per tree, so we would be able to create a number once we have new pricing.
yeah.
So I actually used the Perez numbers,
Did you?
such as they
Okay.
were. But I don't have those figures right here.
Let me see if I can access that real fast. I don't know if I had that in it.
Well, I mean, if it's no longer a valid number, you're just kidding
I
yourself.
mean, it is a valid number. It was just expensive. I'm thinking that if we can get a, you know, let's see what Ron comes up with from Greenscapes, or if he can get Corey, who's the owner of Greenscapes, to respond. He can give us an idea what they would charge.
Right, and
Also,
they know, it's all the
they might-
locations that they work already.
Right, since they're already in the working under contract for the city, maybe they'll give a little bit better price. And Ron can sweet talk him a little bit. He can't hear me.
He's great at that. That's right.
So that's
I-
all I have.
Oh yeah, I'm known as
Okay,
a sweet talker.
Yeah. We had another one, the dead maple, that's on Hunting Creek Drive past Hill.
Lee, you're talking away from your mic again.
Sorry, there was a report of a dead maple on Hunting Creek Drive past Autumn Hill. Andrew, do you have that?
Yeah, we talked about that
We
already.
did.
That's Westover.
And that's Westover.
On
and
Westover,
it's
okay.
past Autumn Hill, yes.
Okay, right, right.
Ron has that on his list.
Okay, very good. There's no other immediate tree issues. The next item I had for discussion was whether the Forestation Board could or should participate in the 4th of July celebration by having a table and distributing literature. Any comment, or someone would like to volunteer for that job?
We did that last year, and I think you and I were there, Lee, and I
We
think
were.
Connie came and we shared it with Parks and Recreation, just trying to get a little bit more community awareness. And I think it's worth doing it again, and I certainly will help.
Okay.
I have a birthday party for Big Brother that day. So,
I think I can help to a limited extent, and maybe Connie will feel better. And it's a pretty easy job, just handing out leaflets. So if Ron could get us a table, or we share a table with Parks and Recreation, let's plan on that.
great. Good idea.
I did find an email on the Forestation 22-23 budget request, and at that time we had listed 15 trees with contract watering at $3,000.
Okay, good.
We have basically double that number of trees,
Right.
right?
But that was
So,
just that based on that one estimate, right?
Yes. That
So
was the highest,
maybe we can get another estimate.
but for ballpark, Herb's conversation, you could be saying something like $5,000 is emergency money. You hear that, Herb?
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
yep.
Yeah.
Ron did mention he thinks a few might get some irrigation over at Bridge Point.
Say that again?
Ron did mention he thought maybe a couple over there on Bridge Point are watered by the irrigation.
Okay, that would be good.
So the number might decrease a little bit. Yeah, why don't we say 5,000?
Okay. Any other item anybody would like to discuss?
This,
I don't have anything.
I don't have anything.
No, I guess we should reach out to Linda Wardell to see if they're interested in doing something with us again on the 4th.
Will you do that?
Sure.
Well, Herb's calling her now, and you can ask her, Herb, about that.
No, I'm just calling her to get water permission, money
Okay.
permission.
And
No,
Ron and his crew were nice enough to set up a tent and a table for us. So we
I set up a tent,
table, a couple of chairs.
or a table rather. I'll have to check on the tent.
Okay.
Actually, probably need to buy some new ones. So I'm gonna go on and say we'll probably get you a tent.
good.
Very
Thank
good.
you. Thank you. Okay. How about we meet July 12th? That seem like a good idea?
That's the next nominal date. Usually it's second Tuesday of the month, and that is the second Tuesday of July.
Yep.
I'll be out of town, but I guess I can catch up from the minutes.
What exotic place are you going to be?
I'm going to Ghana.
Oh, goodness.
I didn't think you were going to Simpsonville.
I'm going to Ghana, and I'm flying back on the 12th, so I'll be somewhere in
Okay.
the air.
Is your whole family going?
No, it's just me.
Just you?
Yes. We have family vacation in July, end of July, but this is just me to go see my mom.
Uh-huh.
Okay. My sister lived in Ghana, so we have.
Interesting.
Yeah, her husband was with the Agency for International Development many
Okay.
years ago. It must have been
Ah,
40 years ago, probably.
well,
Okay.
yeah.
But the only difficulty she had was getting used to having all that help.
Exactly. There's
That's
a lot of health and a lot of good food.
I bet.
All right.
Okay, move to adjourn, Herb.
Yep.
Second.
Okay, I seconded. All in favor?
All right.
Thanks to everybody, and Dawn,
Thank you.
special thanks
Thank
for
you,
you.
Ron, for making it
Thanks,
work.
Don.
Yes.
Quite welcome.
Ron, yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.